The detention field hummed with lethal precision around the human female. Verk watched through the reinforced observation port as Elsa stood motionless in the center of the containment cell, her hands bound behind her back with quantum restraints that would sever her limbs at the slightest attempt to escape. She was supposed to be dead already. Verk's mandibles clicked together in confusion, a gesture his species, the Krathek, reserved for moments of profound uncertainty. In his 3 decades as an interrogator for the Galactic Concordat, he had processed thousands of prisoners from hundreds of species. The protocol was absolute: resist, and you die. Comply, and you might earn a swift execution instead of a prolonged one. Humans, the galaxy had learned over the past century, always resisted. Subject displays no vital sign irregularities, reported his assistant, a spider-like Arcanian whose 8 optical sensors never blinked. Cortisol levels elevated but stable. She knows what's coming. Of course she did. The Valiant Dawn, Elsa's research vessel, had been intercepted in the Forbidden Sector, a region of space where 3 dead civilizations had once thrived before something rendered their worlds lifeless. The Concordat had declared the sector off-limits 5,000 years ago. Trespassers were to be eliminated immediately. But Verk had hesitated. The human ship had transmitted a message before the Concordat destroyers could atomize it. We found what killed them. We can stop it from happening again. That message had bought Elsa exactly 1 interrogation session before the execution order would be carried out. Verk entered the containment cell, his exoskeletal frame towering over the human. Elsa was small by the standards of most spacefaring species, barely reaching his thorax. Her skin was pale, marked with the scars of someone who had spent years in deep space. Her eyes, a peculiar shade of blue-green, tracked his movement with an intelligence that made Verk's combat instincts flare. "Dr. Elsa Reeves," Verk said, his translator rendering his chittering speech into flat, emotionless standard. "You are charged with violation of Concordat Space Regulation 7 Alpha, unauthorized entry into a quarantined zone. The penalty is immediate termination." Elsa said nothing. Her breathing remained steady. "However," Verk continued, "your message has intrigued certain members of the Concordat High Council. You will answer my questions. If your answers are satisfactory, your death will be quick. If you resist, it will not be." He reached for the neural probe, a device that would rip memories directly from her synapses, a process that invariably left organic minds as little more than drooling husks. That's when it happened. Elsa closed her eyes. Not in fear, not in resignation, but in something that Verk, with all his experience, couldn't immediately identify. Her shoulders relaxed. Her breathing slowed. A strange expression crossed her face, almost peaceful. She thought he was going to kill her. She was certain of it. And she had accepted it. Verk's hand froze centimeters from her temple. In that moment, something shifted in his perception. He looked at her scars again, not the random marks of accidents, but deliberate patterns. Radiation burns from shielding others. A chemical streak across her forearm from sealing a hull breach with her own body. A surgical mark where she donated a kidney. These weren't the scars of a survivor. They were the scars of a protector. "Why did you enter the Forbidden Sector?" Verk asked, pulling the probe back. Elsa's eyes opened slowly. Confusion flickered across her features. "You're asking. Answer the question." She swallowed hard. When she spoke, her voice was hoarse but steady. "We detected a subspace resonance pattern identical to the one that preceded the sterilization of the 3 civilizations in that sector. The pattern is reoccurring on a 5,000-year cycle. We calculated that the next occurrence is in 7 months." Verk's entire body went rigid. "Impossible. Our scientists concluded the deaths were due to mutual warfare." "Your scientists were wrong." Elsa's eyes locked onto his. "We found the weapon. It's not a weapon, it's a mechanism. an automated defense system left by an extinct species. It targets any civilization that reaches a specific technological threshold. Warp capability, quantum computing, neural interfacing, any two of the three triggers it. The galaxy has possessed all three for millennia, Verk said. Because someone disabled it last time, Elsa replied. 5,000 years ago, we found the maintenance logs in an underground facility on the third planet. Someone calling themselves the Wardens shut it down before it could cleanse the galaxy, but it's repairing itself. The resonance pattern indicates it will be fully operational in 7 months. Verk's mind raced through the implications. You have evidence. In my ship's computer core, which your destroyers atomized. A silence stretched between them. Finally, Verk spoke. You knew you would be executed for entering that sector. You knew we would destroy your ship, yet you came anyway. Elsa nodded. We transmitted all our data to 6 different dead-drop satellites before you caught us. Someone will find it. Someone will believe it. Even if I die here, the galaxy will know. Your crew. I ordered them to evacuate in the escape pods. They refused. We drew lots. I lost. A bitter smile crossed her face. Or one, depending on your perspective. They're in the debris field in stasis. If you're quick, you can save them. Verk stood frozen, every instinct screaming contradictions at him. Humans were dangerous, unpredictable, violent. The galaxy had learned this when humanity had exploded onto the interstellar stage just 100 years ago, winning wars they should have lost, surviving catastrophes that should have exterminated them. But looking at Elsa, Verk realized the galaxy had misunderstood the source of that danger. Humans weren't dangerous because they were violent. They were dangerous because they were willing to sacrifice everything for others, even those who would kill them. Come with me, Verk said, deactivating her restraints. Elsa stumbled as the quantum bonds released. What? I am taking you before the High Council. You will present your evidence. My evidence is scattered across a debris field. Then we will recover it. Verk turned to his assistant. Dispatch recovery teams to the destruction site immediately. Locate any human life pods and retrieve them, alive. The Arcanian's sensors widened in shock. Sir, the execution order is hereby suspended pending my investigation. Verk looked back at Elsa. Can you operate on partial data? I memorized the critical calculations. I can recreate enough to make the case. Hope flickered in her eyes, quickly suppressed. But why? Why would you believe me? Verk's mandibles clicked, but this time in what might have been the Krathic equivalent of a smile. Because you closed your eyes, human. You were certain I would kill you, and you accepted your death without begging, without anger, without attempting to bargain. In my 30 years, I have never seen that. Every species, when facing extinction, fights or flees or bargains, but you simply let go. I made peace with it, Elsa said quietly. I did what I came to do. That, Verk said, is why I believe you. A species capable of such sacrifice does not squander lives on lies. 6 months later, the galaxy watched as human and alien scientists worked in unprecedented cooperation, racing to locate and disable the ancient mechanism before it could activate. Elsa's data proved accurate. The weapon, a network of dimensional resonators hidden in subspace, was found and neutralized with only weeks to spare. The Concordat awarded Elsa and her crew the Star of Unity, the highest honor the galaxy could bestow. But Verk knew the truth. Elsa hadn't saved the galaxy through heroism or brilliance. She had saved it by being willing to die for it. And that willingness had shocked a galaxy that had forgotten what true courage looked like.